4 years after the arrival of the Nikon Z9, photographers are still waiting for the second chapter. The original Z9 changed the perception of what Nikon could achieve with a professional mirrorless flagship, but the rumored Nikon Z9 II has become one of the longest-running stories in the camera industry. Speculation about a successor has been circulating since late 2024, with several expected launch windows reportedly coming and going without an official announcement. The camera was widely expected by some observers to appear around major sporting events, but the Winter Olympics passed without a Z9 II, and the FIFA World Cup window also came and went. Now, as we move through the summer of 2026, the conversation has changed. Photographers are no longer simply asking what Nikon will put into its next flagship. They are asking a much more important question: is the Nikon Z9 II actually going to launch this year? Before getting into the rumored specifications, it is important to establish exactly what information we are working with. The current Nikon Z9 II discussion is based primarily on reports and leaks rather than official Nikon announcements. Nikon-specific rumor trackers have circulated a potential specification sheet, while publications such as Digital Camera World have provided additional context and warnings about the uncertainty surrounding some of the numbers. That distinction matters. A leaked specification list is not the same thing as a confirmed product specification, and some of these figures could change before the final camera reaches the market. Nevertheless, when several reports point in the same general direction, they can provide a useful picture of what Nikon may be developing. So rather than treating every rumored number as fact, it makes more sense to look at the larger technological story behind those specifications. One of the most frequently discussed upgrades is the sensor. The rumored Nikon Z9 II is expected to use a stacked full-frame CMOS sensor with approximately 46 megapixels. On paper, that sounds like a very small increase compared with the original Z9's 45.7 megapixel sensor. However, megapixel count may be one of the least interesting aspects of this rumored sensor. The more important claim is its dramatically improved readout speed. Some reports suggest the new sensor could be approximately 3.5 times faster than the stacked sensor used in the original Z9. If that turns out to be accurate, it could represent a much more meaningful technological advancement than the modest increase in resolution suggests. The original Z9 was already an unusual camera because Nikon managed to eliminate the mechanical shutter entirely. Its stacked sensor was fast enough to make electronic shutter operation practical across a wide range of professional situations. Now imagine taking that existing architecture and making the sensor several times faster. The result could influence almost every part of the camera's performance. Faster readout can reduce rolling shutter distortion, improve burst photography, increase video capabilities, and make high-speed flash synchronization more practical. In other words, the sensor would not simply be responsible for creating higher resolution photographs. It could become the foundation for an entirely faster camera. One of the most ambitious rumors connected to the sensor is continuous shooting at approximately 60 frames per second in full resolution FX mode. A rumored DX crop mode could potentially push the number even higher, with figures around 120 frames per second being discussed. If those numbers eventually become reality, the Z9 II could become an extraordinary tool for sports, wildlife, action, and other forms of photography where timing is everything. At that point, the advantage is not simply having more photographs. The real benefit is having a much larger window in which to capture the exact moment you want. For a professional sports photographer, the difference between a conventional burst and an extremely fast burst can be significant. A footballer's expression, a basketball player's movement, a bird's wings at the exact instant they open, or an athlete crossing a finish line can happen incredibly quickly. A camera capable of capturing many frames in rapid succession gives the photographer more opportunities to select the perfect image later. Of course, there are practical questions surrounding buffer performance, storage requirements, autofocus tracking, and processing speed, but the concept itself would represent a major step beyond what the original Z9 offered. Another specification that deserves attention is the rumored native ISO 32 setting. This may not sound as exciting as 60 frames per second or an enormous video resolution, but a low native ISO can have important implications for image quality and exposure flexibility. Extremely low base ISO settings can provide photographers with additional control over highlights and potentially contribute to greater dynamic range in suitable conditions. It could be particularly useful for landscape photographers working in bright environments, studio photographers using powerful lighting, and professionals who want maximum control over tonal information. A native ISO 32 setting would also position the Z9 II in an interesting conversation with high-end medium format cameras. Medium format systems have traditionally attracted photographers partly because of their image quality and tonal flexibility. Nikon would obviously still be working with a full-frame sensor, but a highly advanced stack sensor with an exceptionally low base ISO could demonstrate how far full-frame technology has progressed. The important thing is not whether the Z9 II literally replaces medium format, but whether it narrows the practical gap in situations where dynamic range and highlight preservation matter. The original Z9 started a new chapter for Nikon. The Z9 II, if and when it finally arrives, could determine how that story continues. After missed launch windows, major sporting events, endless rumors, and years of anticipation, photographers are understandably impatient. But if Nikon delivers the kind of performance being discussed, the wait may prove to have been worthwhile. The next chapter is taking longer than expected, but if the rumors are even close to reality, Nikon may be preparing a flagship that is designed not merely to compete with today's cameras, but to remain relevant for professional photographers and filmmakers for years to come.